Hey guys, welcome to my episode, man. This is me, Coach Maul, and today I have a special guest on Off the Bench. Today we will be blessed with the presence of a guest by the name of Liz Barlow. You've seen her open up for herself at my venue if you've had a chance to come there.
I don't think that's how comedy works.
It's not. She's gonna roast me this entire cast because it just is what it is. But we've seen her open up for Nicole Baker.
Buyer.
Bruh.
I need a cheat sheet.
It's just Nicole Byer. It's not a
She was on the
difficult.
Big Show, though, wasn't she?
She's on Nailed It on Netflix. She hosts the show.
All right, let me get that right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my humble abode. We're gonna scratch that. I'm gonna do that again. Hey, everybody. Today I got a special guest. I'm welcome to. Hey guys, and welcome to my. Dang, girl, you making me nervous. I'm already sweating. Cut my fan on. Aria, girl, if you don't listen to me, Aria, because I'm actually trying to get this done. I only have a little bit of time. When I get done, we'll go to the park. But I need you to sit down until I'm done and close the door. I'm sorry.
Parenting.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Off the Bench. Welcome to Off the Bench with Coach Maul, and today I have a special guest. It's Liz Barlow. For those of you who don't know her, great person to watch, great comic in the local scene. Just a pleasure to listen to, man. I know I've become like a huge fan of hers. So,
Thank you.
she's currently on tour with Nicole Byer, which is amazing. So I'm glad I was able to get her for this podcast. Just a great person. At least from what I've gotten to know, she will fry me, and I'm pretty sure that's going to happen throughout this episode. But come on in, join, and just enjoy the pod, man. That being said, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Yeah. So we had a few hiccups starting off.
It's okay. It's okay. I also have a podcast called the Fluffy Chronicles podcast. And if it wasn't just me, it would also be a lot of hiccups. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, nah, your podcast was fun. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I'll list the description down below. And yeah, definitely check it out. I watched the whole episode, and there was a lot that I learned from it.
What did you learn?
I learned how
5 things.
5 things.
Yeah.
I learned for one, your homegirl, what's her name, Cakes. I listened to her story, and I was like, God dang, yo, y'all really
Love
like
cakes.
y'all really like these guys with painful, um, you know. Yeah, we ain't gonna go into that.
Okay.
Edit that, Sonya.
I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, go watch the episode.
Nah,
Go watch the
It
episode.
was dope. I watched all of it. It was a fun episode to listen to. Just getting women's perspective on their dating scenes and what they go through in dating.
Yeah.
Because us guys, most men, I know myself mainly. I'm talking about myself when I say this. Like we only care about what's happening within us.
Yeah.
So to actually take the time and hear women's true stories and current stories, and just a great episode.
Okay.
Great episode. Yeah. So what else? What else do you have going on?
Nothing, man. Just working. A lot of shows. I work a regular job. I still have a 9 to 5, and I have a small toddler. So there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toddlers is
Yeah, man.
no joke, man. What's her age?
She's 2.5, so she'll be 3 in June.
I'm 3 years.
Yeah, I hear 3s are worse than 2s. I'm not
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's rough. And then like as they get older, you kind of miss those. You like, where did you go?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you miss it, but right now I'm not missing it.
Living in the moment.
Yeah, living in the moment, not missing it.
Yeah. So what got you into comedy?
So I started doing comedy in college. There was a comedy competition on campus. And I'll never forget because Courtney Farrington, who's also a comic in New York, he's been on Comedy Central, he's done a bunch of stuff. He was the judge, and I had just probated, and my line sister was like, "Oh my God, you're funny. go try the competition. And so I said, okay. So I went, I tried the competition, and I won for our campus.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. And so the next phase of that competition was to go to DC to do the DC Improv and try your set out to win for all the campuses in the DMV. And I lost to Kassan Wilson. Kassan is an incredible comic who writes for Jon Stewart now. So losing to him makes a lot of sense. And then I went back the next year to try it. I was not prepared and I sucked. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm more of like a comedic actress because I'm an actor by trade. That's what I do. I'm very good at that job. And then I came back home in 2013. And then I just did improv for a year. So from 2013 all the way 2014, I improved with the local improv troupe. And then 2015, same line sister. She's my best friend. Same line sister was like, hey, when are you gonna get back on doing stand up? And I was like, remember that time in college I sucked? She was like, you gonna let one time stop you? I was like, I guess not. 2015, January 8th, I got on stage and I just kept going.
Got you.
So yeah, that's more or less my comedy story.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know how you didn't win from what I see. Like,
yeah, so what I am now took 9 years to make.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know it took some real time to get to where you're at now.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I became a fan of her. Sonia put me on blast on our podcast, saying that set was just had the whole crowd. And George is a tough room, and her set,
boy,
literally the whole standing ovation. That's the first time I had seen that in the 7 months that I've been doing Georgia. So definitely sparked a fire in me.
Why are y'all over there? Because it is a very difficult room. I don't look at rooms like that as easy. Like this is gonna be easy work. Like I look at that room like, oh, well, these niggas not might like me, but I'm gonna get paid regardless. Let's get up there. So why did you cultivate such a hard room for comics to do?
So I was approached. So it started off. I don't know if you're familiar with an OG Herm.
Yeah.
Okay, OG Herm knew the owners, and he was like, "Hey, I want to bring some comedy over here." So in doing that, me and Joe Barlow, Mark, and myself, we accepted the challenge and went up there and just did a show.
Okay.
It was enough people in there to get laughs off for us at the amateur level. At the time, I think I was like 6 or 7 months in, and ever since then, they were like, "Oh, we want to do a comedy night," and then I just kept going because it was a real crowd.
Sure. And it's people there to laugh at the jokes.
It was people there to laugh at the jokes, and just kept going and tried to build it to a way that people would like really enjoy the comedy.
Okay. But why is it you made it a hard room? Or is it just the nature of who comes to the room?
Nature of who comes, because
Fair enough.
sometimes we're able to, like, I try to get comics to bring other people, but
Sure.
the thing with black mics that I'm learning, or black owned businesses, is that they don't like to pay.
It depends.
Depends.
It depends.
I shouldn't say that, because the Taylor Smoke, she was right out the gate like, let's pay.
Yeah.
But they're also a more mature crowd, and they're there for the comedy.
Sure.
And
so maybe it's just a distinction of them not being there for the comedy. Like they're just there for a night out and comedy is happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but sometimes, like I said, sometimes we have a good night and sometimes we don't. But I am trying to cultivate another room that we can go to, that they're there for the comedy.
Okay.
You know, and George's doesn't want to charge people at the door, but they'll do it for their other nights, like their jazz night. So you know that everybody who pays for it is there for jazz.
Sure.
And that's what makes it difficult for us, is they don't want to charge anybody. They just want people to be there.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, like last week we had a really rough time. There's a crackhead, because I turned it back into an open mic.
Daggone it, I missed the crackhead.
It's the crackhead. The crackhead was wild, man. He brings 50 people though. He brings all his dealers, everybody.
I'm so sorry. Let's back up. I thought there was just a crackhead in the building. You let the crackhead do the comedy?
I did one time. I wasn't there last week. I actually had a show. I was booked for a show last week.
Oh, bookings.
This is my first one. First show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Why is the crackhead doing comedy? I think that's the question I have.
Like I said, I let him on one time before I found out he was a crackhead. He got on the mic and he said, "I lied to you not." He said, "Yeah, I used to I used to do crack," and he goes into this rant about doing crack. I immediately get up from my seat, change the mic out, and continue to proceed to host.
Okay, so he's a former crackhead.
Yeah, but you can't tell because he definitely was.
Yeah, but I just feel like you're slandering this man. He don't still do crack. He not a current crackhead.
He hasn't admitted to being a crackhead, but he has a lot of crackhead ways. His pants fell down on stage.
Maybe the man don't have no money to buy new pants. He done spent a lot of money on crack.
Mm. I don't. You
Yeah, you didn't think about
Yeah.
that. That's okay. Yeah. Addiction is a disease. It's not an easy one.
Oh no, I'm fully aware, man. I've have members of my family that have
Are
fallen for
crackhead?
that.
You seem like you have an issue with crackheads. It's kind of like
Maybe I
seems like
don't.
a thing.
Uh
Okay, so you cultivated a very difficult room,
huh.
and I performed at your room, and it was great. That was such a great show, full of women.
Yeah.
Love that,
Yeah.
and I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
Did I stump you, or do you have another question?
Nah. I definitely have another question. I just like
Okay.
to. Dang, yo, I didn't know you was gonna make this so difficult. Yo, why you over there? All right, cool. Nah, yeah. So, back to the rooms. Damn, so you gotta leave that in there. Don't edit any of that out.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a difficult room. And I haven't figured out a way how to fix it because I'm so new into comedy,
Yeah.
and it's like kind of like one of those things where I need to focus on my comedy because I spent so much time in that room, like just hosting,
Yeah.
that I didn't have an opportunity to grow my comedy.
Sure.
So I kind of took a back step from it
Yeah.
and like, do bare minimum. Like I've had other people guest host or whatever. So I
Yeah.
do my sets or whatever and like, just start getting in back into the scene and getting booked and people seeing my sets and everything like that. So
Gotcha.
um I don't think I'll be doing it much longer, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's just one of those things, you do something. I started the room because I said a lot of ums. My stage presence was horrible.
Sure.
So I wanted to really like fix that, fix holes, and I felt like the only way to do it was to do it in front of a crowd as opposed to doing it in front of other comics.
Okay.
So I saw that other comics weren't giving me an opportunity, and I wasn't getting any more than 5 minutes. So
Yeah, I watched the podcast episode with you and Sonia where you feel like the best way to get better is for you to do longer sets.
no, I definitely don't agree with that now.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I definitely don't. Um, yeah, I don't think that's the best way at all.
No. You ever heard of the 10,000 hours?
Yeah, I just recently heard about that from Kels the Great. She referenced it to me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. No, I felt like it was that way for a while, but then I
Mhm.
started like really fine tuning my 5 minute set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that actually sounded really good because I focused on it and
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so
A comic's 10,000 hours is built in 5 minutes. It's
mm,
not like a singer it's gonna be built in open mic performances, but also recitals and also in writing. Our 10,000 hours is built in 5 minutes.
mm,
Once you get really good at five, then you need to get really good at 10.
mm.
And once you get really good at 10, that's when you get really good at 15 and on and on and on.
So yeah, it had to be a slow churn.
It's a slow churn, but also comedy is to me, the only craft that is never finished. You
Mm,
know, the Beyonce Cowboy Carter album, supposedly she recorded that before Renaissance, right? But Cowboy Carter is done.
mm-hmm,
It's finished, it's in a package.
mm,
Then she records Renaissance. It's done, it's in a package. And then whatever act 3 is gonna be, it's done, it's in a package. When Ali Sadiq records an hour, well, that hour is done. Domino Effect 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all 4 different hours, and then they're finished. And then you have to go back to the drawing board. And a lot of comics are doing that. They're filming the special and they're on tour. So whatever jokes you're telling on tour, once the special drops, you're finished with those. So our 10,000 hours are built in small steps and small bricks.
Yeah.
So doing longer sets ain't gonna help you, because
Honestly, I think it made me worse. If I'm being honest with myself, it's already difficult to remember the joke, the punch, and then you're trying to remember like 6 or 7 more jokes every week. So this past week, I went to a Joke Day podcast. I finally got my really solid, strong 5-minute set off, and it was, I didn't win, but I still was able to get the reception.
Yeah, didn't Sonya win?
Yeah, she won.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to point that out on the podcast.
Yeah. But no, that was, like I didn't know that I needed that much focus on it. And then it, like, I don't listen to anybody. Like, anybody around me can tell you, both of them can tell you, like, I don't listen to anybody. I want to figure it out on my own. Just because I've had to so long. And then when I get into comedy, it's like, why would you do it the hard way when people have already done it the hard way and they're willing to tell you, like, especially the senior people that I have around me now.
Sure.
So it was a lot of lessons that have been learned this first year, if I'm being honest. And
Yeah.
I'm truly grateful for it, man. Like I said, it's been me in my own head thinking that I can do it my way and change everything about comedy.
Yeah.
In all actuality, I needed to take time and really listen to the people around me that actually cared.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's been some growth.
Okay.
Dang, you schooling me. But yeah. What about you? Like, do you remember how you started off? Like, was it rocky in the beginning, or?
Yeah, I mean, I started out like everybody else. It was a lot of open mics, a lot of doing bar shows for drink tickets as payment, a lot of being on shows where they have the hoodest fucking flyer you've ever seen in your life. And there's 16 Black people up there with varying degrees of cutouts, and it's 18 different fonts on the flyer, and you're like, yep, I'm gonna do this 5 minutes. It's a lot of doing Black rooms where they do not enjoy my comedy, and then it's a lot of doing white rooms where you're like, am I making these white people laugh because they laughing at the jokes, or am I making these white people laugh because they just see a big Black girl on stage and they think it's funny? So it was a lot of years of that. And then I decided, like, well, I don't want to be a Virginia comic forever.
Yeah.
Even though I am a Virginia comic. So I got on the road.
Yeah.
So I drove to DC. I used to work at QVC, the call center. And I would get off of work at 7. Because I work 10-hour shifts. Get off of work at 7. Drive to DC. Do an open mic. Drive home. Go to work in the morning at QVC. Or I would go to Baltimore. And then I moved to Baltimore for a year and a half just so I could be near DC. So I could work. DC has 2 clubs. So I can get into the club, so I can get into that circuit. Then I came home, and then I got pregnant and the pandemic happened, and I said, oh, I got to do something. And so I worked up into the Wednesday before giving birth. I told jokes up until the Wednesday before giving birth to my child. I had a show on the day of my baby shower. So I just went intentionally that hard to make sure that I could put in that 10,000 hours, but also to make sure, like, okay, I want to get up out of here. I want to be able to put myself in a position where somebody wants to take me on tour. Nicole is the second, third person to take me on the road.
Wow.
She's just the person to take me on her tour consistently. But I've been on the road with, and then we had sex podcast. It was called And Then We podcast now. I've opened up for them on the road, and I've opened up for Leah Ruddick on the road. I've opened up for another comic. I can't think of her name, and that's a shame. That's my homegirl. On the road. So it took that much time, and it took a lot of like, I can't just do Hampton, Virginia Beach, Norfolk shows forever. Like, I got to get out of here. I did a lot of shows in Raleigh and in Durham because those were markets that would take me. You know, Fayetteville wouldn't take me. I did a lot of Comedy Zone in Charlotte, a lot of Comedy Zone. Um, no shade, but Comedy Zones are not the best paying clubs, but whatever, I'll take it. And it was a lot of, all right, I'm gonna drive this 5 hours to Charlotte. I'm gonna get dressed at my cousin's house because most of my family still live in North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm gonna drive these 5 hours back home because I have to go to work.
Dang.
So that's why when people are like, oh man, driving to DC, I'm like, man, driving to DC ain't even the longest trip I've ever had. I've done 5-hour turnaround trips for $150.
Oh.
That's what you have to do. Or you get really popping on TikTok and people will put you on stage.
Yeah, that's not happening for me.
You don't think you have such a glowing personality?
Absolutely not. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Dang. All right, cool. We just I say our crew because I don't take possession of any people, but our crew, we just talked about like putting together and we're carpooling.
Yeah.
I've had some comics. This is probably the better part of having a room is having comics come visit your room.
Sure.
So I've had comics from New York and Florida both come visit our room, and they set us up with some really nice spots that when we go to New York, we know where to go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool, like that's cool, and Florida as well. So I plan on taking advantage of those now.
Yeah.
This summer we're definitely going down there. But yeah, I'm really ready to start like focusing in. And like I said, even I've had a couple of talks to some more senior comics, and they told me like, yo, the way that I'm going about it is going.
Everybody needs some tweaking. I'm sure the way that I'm doing things needs some tweaking. I'm sure that in the way other people are doing things needs some tweaking. None of us have it correct all the time. I think that we just, with comedy, because it's such an experimental sport, you just gotta kind of figure out what works the best for you. What works the best for me is getting into clubs. I want to be a club comic. I want to go around to the comedy zones, the improvs, the whatever there are, and I want to work that circuit until I can work theaters. I did theaters last year with Nicole. It was incredible. So I know like, oh, I love that. That's something I want to do. If you want to be a room comic, if you want to be the person that goes around the country and does a bunch of rooms and that's how you want to make your money, well then that's how you make your money. I think that requires you to have relationships. I'm not a relationship person.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be friends. It's just not part of my personality. But I want to be a good companion. I want to be someone that is trustworthy and someone who is, you're like, listen, let's call Liz to feature because I know she's going to show up on time. She's going to do her job. She's going to eat her little meal and then she's going to leave. She's not going to leave a $200 alcohol bill. I don't drink. So I'm going to eat my little one allotted meal for the show. I'm gonna tell them jokes. I'm gonna take pictures. If I have merch, I'm gonna sell merch, and then I'm gonna leave. That's that's kind of the lane that I figured out for myself. If you're really based in like, nah, man, I want to be in Albuquerque on a Tuesday, or I want to be in Hampton, and I want to do the whole DM or the whole really 757 one weekend so then I can sell my merch, get my shit together, and then I want to go do DC and I want to do all the rooms in there. Then I want to go to Maryland, predominantly probably Baltimore, Silver Spring, something like that. Then that's the shit you want to do. You just got to figure out what that looks like for you. Are you a relationship person or are you I just want to show up and get it done? Are you I produce shows so that I can get on more shows person? Which I think is a perfectly fine way to attack getting on shows or being a comic. I hate producing shows.
Oh.
I hate them. but it works for some people.
Real quick, I want to ask why you hate. Is there a specific reason?
Hate producing shows.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
you hate producing them. Oh, okay. I thought you said like hate producers that put on.
no. That's some people it works for. There's a
Yeah.
comic in this area. I'm sure we all know his name.
Yeah.
Who produces a very successful show I think it's every month. Very successful show in Hampton. He uses that relationship to get on other shows. It's not a secret. That's fine for him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad way to approach something. If I had that gumption, if I had that entrepreneurial spirit, I may approach it that way too. I don't because I don't. I just don't like producing shows. I don't want to know what time somebody's going to get to the venue. I don't want to deal with the venue. I've produced several shows. I produced three shows at the Funny Bone in Virginia Beach. And every time they're successful.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. It's not fun for me.
Dang. What was the last one that you produced?
I produced Kristen Seville's Tanner is a stand-up comic, but she's currently the most popular for being the better half of J Rod, and they have a podcast called And Then We. And every now and then I have to remind her, me and Kristen are very good friends, hey, you do stand-up, nigga. So I poked and I was like, you're headlining the show. So I produced a show at the Funny Bone where she headlined. I featured Brene Williams hosted, and we had a guest spot from Jessica Wright. And we just any show I produce is probably going to be all women because I don't think men are funny. So there's that.
Respect.
Are you okay? That looked like that kind of
Yeah, it
brought your
kind of
spirit
deflated
down.
me a little bit. Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I was like, well, you haven't seen any of my sets, so
Doesn't matter. I don't think men are funny.
why you set me up for this? I'm just joking.
You're fine.
Nah. Well, that's cool. There's Chappelle?
Oh God, no, I don't think Dave Chappelle's funny at all. I think he gets on stage and gives a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk. I don't like trans people. Okay. I'm a trans couch. Got it. I'm gonna go to jail and be a trans woman.